Hello, I'm Daniela, and welcome to the July prompt of Stitch With Me in 2025. For this workshop, all previous prompts and instructions have videos and they'll be listed below in the description. But for today, I'd like to get started right away with the July prompt, which is grid. Now, a grid is a series of lines that can be parallel, they intersect, and they create squares or rectangles. It can be perfect and precise, or it can be loose and artsy. The choice is up to you. And what you fill the grid with, or maybe not fill the grid with, well, that's what makes it unique. So take a moment and create your grid. I can't wait to show you what I did for this prompt. So let's get started.
So these are the 6 months that I've completed for my pages with each of the prompts, and I have them stitched down and the grommets applied. So the first prompt, second prompt, postage, quilt, points, and couching. So today's prompt for grid will start on this side. I've already cut my fabric. I drew where my grommets are going to go, just so I know not to stitch in that area. But one thing I wanted to mention, and this kind of evolved as it was happening, was each of the pages have a very interesting, unique border to them. So when I line it up, you just get a little hint of the pinking shirred page, then the one with the scalloped lace, and then the one with the points. And I think I'm going to continue with that through the remaining prompts for the year. So now for the grid, I have my page here with the fold. First thing I wanted to do was think about what to make for that border that sticks out. So I found this thick lace. One side is raw, one side is finished, and I think I'm just going to stitch it down like this. It'll peek out a little bit, and I like that. So that will go on my page. Just maybe peek it out just a tiny bit. It doesn't have to stick out tremendously, just enough. So I have the border done. I'll just set that aside. I want to go back to my original inspiration fabric and maybe use that. And so this way it'll look like this. And now I can play around. I can stick some other fabric in just to break up the background, and then put my grid on from there. But I'm thinking of doing something a little more simplistic. This is a nice dark background. I'll trim the edges, maybe tuck them under. And then I want to make my grid. I have this craft cord, and I want to just lay out the grid with this cord. You can do a tic-tac-toe with just 2 by 2. I might do 3 by 3. And stitch around. So the first thing I'm going to do, set my border aside for now. I'm going to stitch down my background fabric, either turning the edges or maybe just trimming them with pinking shears. I haven't decided. And I'm going to couching stitch my grid. So I have my background piece, which I used the pinking shears on the edge. This edge is going to be covered up, so I didn't bother to worry about that. I used a little bit of fabric glue to tack down this cording, and then I did the couching stitch over it. I wanted it to look fairly precise, and I'm pretty happy with that. Before I start embellishing the grid, however, I want to put my border on, mainly because unlike other prompts that I've done, not only do I want that border on there, but I also want to put my little label. So I can play around with exactly how far out I want this to go. And now I'll stitch these 2 things down before I start embellishing this grid. So I attached the border here, and I didn't like that rough edge. So I took some of this velvet ribbon that I had. It kind of coordinates close enough. And I glued that down just with some fabric glue here. I like to use the fabric tack. And then I stitched down my label. Now this allows me to start my technique here of what I want to create on the grid, what I want to embellish. So I have some embroidery floss, all 6 strands, and I have the color that matches the grid. So I think on every intersection, I'm going to create little teardrop shaped stitches. So I'll start up here at the top. I'll come right up through here. I'll create that loop that I want for my stitch. I want it to be fairly large. Stitch it down. And then I'll come right out to the edge here to hold it in place, just with a little tacking stitch. So I come up and stitch through. It's kind of a take on the lazy daisy stitch. And now if I do that on all the intersections facing out here, I'll have a very interesting result. So I'll work on that so all the grids are completed. So after I completed all of the little stitches, this is how it looks like on my grid. Now I like this, but I think I want to take it a little bit further. So I have some brown thread, again, all 6 strands, and I'm going to go here in between all of these little flowers at the right angles, come up here and just make a nice neat cross over each of them where it intersects. I'm trying to unite these pieces as well as just add another element here, another color, just like that. And so now I'll do that to all the intersections, and then I think my piece will be complete. So here's the finished prompt. I did my little crosses just on the intersections there, and I think it just grounds the piece a little better. I have my leftover thread, my threadlings here from all my stitching, and that goes into the tube here. And while it looks like it's full, if you press it all down, there's plenty of room. We're a little past 6 months of the year, so there's lots of space here for more of this.
So that's how I created the grid prompt for my fabric book. We're already in July, so the prompts are coming very quickly now. We only have a few more months to go. We're beyond the halfway point. If you'd like to post your work, feel free to join our Facebook group and post it there. We have a great community with lots of support, lots of great comments, and brilliant artists. I hope you'll consider joining. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thank you for joining me today.